Hi, this is the Love Your Life Show with Susie Pettit, Certified Life and Wellness Coach. Join Susie as she helps you with your wellness and mindset so you can live a life you love. Let's go, warriors!
Warriors, hello and welcome to another week with me, Susie Pettit, your Certified Life and Wellness Coach. How are you? If you're listening to this as it comes out, I am doing awesome. I have recently moved, and boy, is my current life situation a verification of the incredible power of coaching. If you're a new listener of the show, you may not realize my backstory. It's about time that I record an episode revisiting the bumpy ride that got me there. I will do that in the future, maybe in this next year, where I speak to the specific tools and mindset shifts I made to get from where I was to where I am. That's not the episode for today, but today, suffice it to say, I was once emotionally and financially shattered, living in an unfinished basement, unsure when I would be able to see my kids, having my biological family sort of take a stand against me. Really scary times. And through using tools like the one I mentioned on the show today and in other past episodes, I am now living a life that is unrecognizable to that Susie who was living in that unfinished basement. That was in like 2015, Warriors. That's not that long ago. Okay, I am now living a life I love, the name of the show, and one I never thought was possible for me, which is the power of coaching with the framework I use, which is why I'm so freaking glad that you push play on these episodes. Okay, because I get to help you use the thought model and bridge thoughts to create a future you possibly don't even believe yet is possible for you. Okay, I will put the links to thought work and bridge thoughts in today's show notes at smbwell.com/229 for new listeners, and also encourage you to get the podcast roadmap at smbwell.com/roadmap, because roadmap is all one word, because that will help you get the foundational things to get started living this life you love. Okay, I am just here with you, doing the work with you, shining a light out for you. The more of us doing the work to bust our limiting beliefs and giving ourselves permission to want what we want, the more we show other warriors what could be possible for them too. One thought at a time, busting through one limiting belief at a time, one warrior at a time. All right, which brings me that was a very good cue that my brain just gave me. I want to highlight a warrior of the week. And how you get to be a warrior of the week is to leave a review on Apple Podcasts for the show. All right, and you head over there, and if you are chosen, you will be the warrior of the week. And this warrior of the week doesn't even have a name. She's so fancy that it's like a heart, stars, and a kissy face is her somehow she managed to do that on Apple. So I'm very impressed. Okay. She says, wonderful topics, 5 stars. I really enjoy the topics of the episodes, things that are very relevant to me and that I talk about with my closest friends. Susie has a lovely perspective, which she pours herself into. Added bonus, the show volume is perfectly loud enough if you, like me, listen to podcasts in the shower. Thank you, Warrior of the Week, heart, star, smiley face. I really greatly appreciate you guys leaving reviews for me or letting me know on Instagram DMs that what impact the show is making for you. I'm just sitting here alone, recording, talking to my computer, and when I can hear that I have touched one warrior's life in any way, that just makes what I'm doing, I just keep going. So let's do it. Okay, if you want another way to help me keep going, please head over to Patreon, smbwell.com/Patreon. No. Patreon.com/Susie Pettit, all one word, to support me for less than a cost of a coffee, and we can keep this podcast ad-free, which is very helpful for me too. Anyhow, let's get in, because I want to give you this super life-changing tool, which is choosing a word of the year. Okay, yep, you heard me. This life coach is advising you to poo-poo resolutions. Okay, and it's not because I didn't used to make them or haven't tried them. Oh my, no. I used to make resolutions at the beginning of each year. In fact, I took my resolution making so seriously. I would read articles on what the best resolutions were. And I'd ask friends what theirs were. I would look externally for what I should be doing and guidance on what my next year should be like. Okay, instead of turning inward to use my inner warrior as a guide, I fell on old programming that taught me that inner Susie didn't know what was right. I needed to look externally. Resolutions really encouraged me to look externally to answer the question of how to best fix Susie. Okay, geez, what a defeating way to start the new year. It goes against everything I practice and teach here on the Love Your Life show. There's nothing to fix about you. Okay, we want to accept our imperfect self. We want to look at gain over gap thinking, face versus fear living. And my God, how could I say do resolutions? Resolutions counter all that. Resolutions bring our focus to what we're doing wrong and what we need to do better, where we need to improve. They're very black and white. You either do them or you don't. As a coach, I am intensely interested in your well-being and feeling state, which is why today I passionately encourage you to choose a word of the year instead of making New Year's resolutions. A word of the year brings our focus to growth and expansion versus weakness and imperfections. A word of the year also allows us flexibility during the year, which we actually saw during the COVID years. Okay? What if your resolution during the COVID years was to go to the gym 3 times a week? That got pretty hard in March, eh? You just throw up your hands, you're like, well, there goes my year. Or what if your resolution was to go out to dinner with your partner once a month? Not so possible, eh? Whereas if you choose a word of the year, it's still on. If your word was health and the gym shut down, your brain looks for solutions. I guarantee you'd be one of those people like Zooming some group exercise class. If your word of the year was connection and you're no longer able to go out with your friends, well, Zoom to the rescue again. You probably got together with your friends on Zoom. I know people were doing happy hours on Zoom. The point is your brain looks for solutions when we direct them in that open growth mindset way. Whereas resolutions are limiting and focus on our weaknesses. Choosing a word of the year is expansive and focuses on possibilities no matter what your year throws your way. Okay, this year threw stuff my way that I never could have foreseen happening. But since I chose my word of the year, I still was in a really good place, and I can see how it's all happened. Okay, so let's figure out how to do it. Have I convinced you to do a word of the year? If so, grab your worksheet. If you get my weekly newsletter, it's attached to this week's edition. Okay, if you're new to the Susie Show, get your word of the year at smbwell.com/word. Print it out and let's go. Okay, so the first step to picking your own warrior word is to assess your current situation. And we're going to do that by answering some questions that I have on that sheet. And if you're listening and you're able to, you could get out a pad of paper right now and answer these and sort of stop and start. Don't do that if you're driving or in the shower like my warrior of the week. But here are some questions to ask yourself. 1, how do you feel most days? What are 3 words that you'd use to describe how you feel most days or felt most days this past year? 2, what do you wish were different in your life? If I could hand you a magic wand, what do you wish were different in your life? 3, what do you want more of in your life? 4, what do you want less of in your life? Now, warriors, I cannot emphasize enough, I really would like you to stop, not just think the answers in your head, get them out on paper. All right? Listening to podcasts is amazing. It's wonderful. It can change your life. Taking the action step of actually doing what we're talking about here is where your life changes at just a compounding speed. Okay, so go back when you have time to answer those 4 questions or get your word of the year at smbwell.com/word and write them out. How do you feel most days? What do you wish were different in your life? What do you want more of in your life? What do you want less of in your life? And let your pen just go. Judgment free. Okay, if you're concerned that someone else is going to read it, write and rip afterwards. Okay, but get that out of your head. Step number 2 is to dream. Dream. Turn off your inner critic or limiting beliefs or what other people are going to think and allow yourself to imagine your best 2023. Okay, this is not a time to let your brain tell you why these things aren't possible. You say, brain, I'm dreaming now. This is a time to engage your growth mindset and to imagine what you want this year to be like. What would make this year great? Here's some more questions to answer. What would make this year great? How does that feel? Like, what does that look like? What does a great looking year look like to you? Okay. How about, I love this question. When you look back at this time next year, how would you like to describe your year? How do you want to feel about yourself? Okay, step 3 is choose. All right, get quiet, find a quiet place, read over the list on the handy word guide I made you, and choose 2 to 5 words that stand out to you on a scrap of paper. Carry that paper around for a day or 2. Get it out, look at it. Which word is sticking out to you? Okay, one will begin to shine and call to you. That's your word. All right, I know a lot of us that have been raised the way we are, we're like, oh, I want to choose the right word. Whatever word is sort of calling out to you, great. You can keep the other words on a note file on your phone for another year. Okay, but choose the one that sort of starts to stick out to you. And then step 4, saturate. Bring your word into your life in as many ways as you can. Okay, write it out on sticky notes. Have it be an alarm on your phone. Write it on note cards, pretty cardstock. Stick it around your house. Change, the phone alarm so that when it goes off every morning, you see your word. Okay, take advantage of the post-holiday sales and get a print or a pillow with your word on it. I'll put some cute pillows I found in the Free Warrior Facebook group. Okay, tell people your word. Start speaking of it. Be brave. Be like, my word of the year is, and tell your friends, your family, your internet buddies, share your word with me. Email me, Susie@smbwell.com, or share it on the aforementioned free Facebook Warrior group. We will be talking about it in there. Okay, you can even, they make mantra bands, makes great. I have a ring with my word on it from another year. They also make bracelets. I'll put all those links in the show notes. The point is, the more visual reminders you have of your word, the more you bring that word into your life in your year. Okay, plaster your word around so that you snap yourself in the habit of thinking of that word when making a decision. Okay, and you are thinking of that word, you're like bringing it into energy. I have a sign by my oils, my essential oils that I use every morning to remind me at the beginning of the day of my intent. Okay, remember, our brain is the most powerful computer in the world. They can't duplicate it, it's so powerful. So get it to work for you. It will form neural connections that will unconsciously help you bring your word into reality. It seems woo-woo, but trust me, I've seen it happen. I've lived it. My word for 2022 was magic. And oh wow, were there moments where I would wonder, how is this going to play out? This is certainly not magical by my standards. And ultimately, warriors, this has been the most magical year of my life. Thank you, brain. So saturate yourself with it. And number 5, enjoy. You are set up for success. Believe in yourself and your word. Resolutions tend to be black or white. You either do them or you don't. A word is something you hold loosely, you aim for, a light to aim towards. There is no possibility of failure. Remove that just option from your brain. Like I said with my word magic this last year, there were things that happened. I've spoken on the show how my mother-in-law died. We found her when we came here to the country. It was one of the worst things that has happened in my life. Okay? And yet, hold tight to that word. Okay? Hold tight in that belief and that intention and adjust your course throughout the year. It's sort of like, wow, didn't see this happening. Okay? With an expansive, curious mindset and my coach, laugh out loud, I held on to my word and my belief in the system. Okay? A word is something you aim for. A light to aim towards when your days might be dark. There is no possibility of failure. You do not fail, you learn and grow. Choosing a word also allows you to start your year looking forward with anticipation, excitement, and inspiration. Okay, whatever time you would have spent making resolutions and thinking about what you've done wrong and how bad you are, and you get to think instead of what you're going to do right and how great the upcoming year can be. We are on this earth for a purpose. Resolutions led me to feel badly about who I was, focusing on the gap, the negative. Choosing a word empowers me to accept how awesome I am right now, while encouraging me to evolve to that next best version of myself. I encourage you to try something different this year. Share your warrior word with me, and I will share my warrior word of 2023 with you. Okay? I also invite you to join my monthly membership for women over 40 and get support on your journey. Instead of telling yourself you can do it alone or you don't need support, why not try it? Okay, maybe your brain is like, I don't do groups. Okay, you know what? There's no contract or cancellation fee. You can stop whenever you want. This is part of that growth mindset too. It's like, let me see. Okay, that's it. Women don't regret signing up. They regret not joining the community sooner. So if that interests you, smbwell.com/membership, this is your year, your life, your moment. I would love to be your coach and support you on this magnificent journey. One thing I've noticed about COVID and the state where we are right now is that people can be in a very dark mental place. They also either sort of rose or fell. Relationships strengthened or shrunk. Habits either became super helpful or incredibly unhelpful. Join me in optimizing your life for happiness and joy. Don't rest in indecision of maybe someday. Okay, choose to join the monthly membership or take my Happiness Habits class if you haven't taken that. That's my most popular class, where I teach you the 4 habits foundational for life satisfaction, and I give you one-on-one coaching. You get to meet with me each week at a time that suits you. Okay? I don't want you to live a mediocre life. It is actually my intense belief that you are not here to live a mediocre life, where at the end of it you shrug your shoulders and be like, I guess that's what it was about. I was happy enough. No, dear warrior, you deserve more, and we need humans to rise up. 2023 is leading us into a new frontier. All hands on deck. We need you, warrior. Let's go get 'em. Big love to you.
Thank you for listening to the Love Your Life show. If you want to hear more from Susie and support the show, be sure to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes. Also, leave a review and share this podcast with friends and family. Go get 'em, warriors.